So, the twins. The story of how precious Charlotte is and how almost everyone else is a raging dick. Obviously, something was amiss when they were born, but unfortunately the midwife handled this with the grace of a person with phallophobia in a dildo emporium. She took off screaming her lungs out and went to tell the assholes in the village to grab their pitchforks. Charlotte and Victor were born conjoined, but Victor was just kinda leaning out of Charlotte's chest like he was joyriding in a convertible. So their mom grabbed them and took off. So they lived in France at the time and were hiding out in the forest because people assumed that if something unexpected rockets out of a woman's hoo-ha, that it automatically makes her a witch. She did the best she could to take care of them and stole toys pretty often because Victor was a raging dickhead and wouldn't stop screaming until he got what he wanted. Unfortunately, the twins' mom got sick, and since Dad was out at the store getting cigarettes for the last few years of their lives, Charlotte had to nut up and be the provider. Charlotte's a badass, so she told Victor to shut the fuck up, hid him under her clothes, and stole whatever they needed to survive. A bunch of dudes with nothing to do but swing their tiny dicks around like itty-bitty fans showed up calling themselves witch hunters. They grabbed Charlotte, Victor, and their mom and stood around like the seagulls from Finding Nemo crying, "Witch? Witch? Witch?" and lit the mom on fire in front of her kids. Now they didn't yeet the twins in the bonfire because they'd made a deal with some cult and dropped the twins off over there. Charlotte and Victor were obviously pretty pissed about the whole ordeal, and Victor bit the shit out of everyone he could other than Charlotte. They were experimented on and chanted at until finally they threw them on an altar and tried to stab them. Charlotte rolled out of the way and Victor grabbed a lit candelabra and lit those assholes on fire. Unfortunately, everything else caught fire too while those dudes were flailing around. Charlotte barely managed to get out without dying of smoke inhalation and hauled ass into the forest until she passed out. Unfortunately, Victor hadn't been able to handle the smoke, and when Charlotte woke up, he was dead. He just flopped around on her chest, and Charlotte had no choice but to keep on keeping on, setting up camp in the sewers like a ninja turtle and stealing shit and running off with pig slop just to stay alive. Victor started oozing some nasty shit and turning black, but he wasn't really rotting like a dead guy should, which was kinda weird. But Charlotte was cool with it because she didn't want to lose her last family member, even if he was a corpse. She really hated people at this point because they would not leave her the fuck alone. The cult people were constantly after her. People would chuck rocks and try and stab her for no goddamn reason, and she was getting real tired of it. She had to keep abandoning every place she would find to live because they kept hunting her. Eventually, it got really cold out and she realized she was gonna die, and was actually pretty chill about the whole thing because she wouldn't have to worry about those assholes after death. Sadly, Victor yeeted himself out of her chest somehow and took off. Charlotte was like, well, that's not something you see every day, and ran after him. Another one of those cult assholes grabbed Victor and dragged him into the fog, and Charlotte grabbed her sickle and went into the fog to shove it up that guy's asshole. The entity ended up adopting them, and since Charlotte was kind of indiscriminately pissed at everyone that wasn't Victor, she was totally fine with coming to live with Sky Daddy and murder people for it. So yeah, the twins. Plain and simple. Hello everyone, ZenBatman here. Remember that as every Gemini discovers the twins and sees it as a sign from the heavens to play it, 4 survivors are doomed to a 4K slug extravaganza. By liking, subscribing, and even going into the description box and clicking the links to further support the channel, one skeptical asshole will keep on writing fake horoscopes to keep your slugged ass off the menu. Thank you.